In the wake of the Supreme Court ruling overturning Roe v. Wade, the president of the American Psychological Association is raising a red flag, warning the decision could worsen the mental health crisis in America. As we often do, to give us context on stories involving our mental health, we turn to the president of the Chicago School of Professional Psychology, Dr. Michelle Nealon, a familiar face, and we're so glad that you could join us. First of all, I think it would be important for us to understand why a ruling from the Supreme Court of this nature, to explain how it can exacerbate the current mental health crisis we're in.
Good morning, Michaela. And the president of the American Psychological Association, Dr. Frank Worrell, he is drawing our attention to the decades worth of research that lets us know that women that are denied access to an abortion, despite the circumstances that they come forward with, are more likely to experience higher levels of anxiety, depression, have lower life satisfaction, and also lower self-esteem. And Michaela, one of those points of research comes from UC San Francisco. It was remarkable research done over the course of a 5-year period. And it tells us 4 things about women that have been denied access to an abortion. The first is that they are more likely to experience economic hardship and insecurity for many years. The second is that they are more likely to remain in interpersonal relationships with a violent partner and also to become single parents themselves. There are negative financial and developmental consequences for the children involved. And then lastly, that research let us know that women are more likely to experience negative and very serious health consequences, such as eclampsia or difficulties throughout the entire pregnancy in terms of hypertension and also post-pregnancy. These are serious health issues for women.
You point out that this will rest largely on those with the fewest resources, our minorities, our poorest women, our undocumented people.
That is unfortunately always the case. And Michaela, we have addressed this on your show many times. We know and must accept that there's a very large number of Americans that do not have access to equal health care. People of color, people living in rural communities, the LGBTQ population, young people, and also undocumented people. With young people, these are I liken it to a tornado comes on through, and then we are left dealing with the aftermath. So for young people, for example, Michaela, teenage parents, and I say parents because this is not just a women's issue, mothers and fathers both, they are more likely to be unemployed, to live in poverty, and not be able to get beyond a GED, let alone college education. For boys, for example, that have babies very young, they are 4 times less likely to go to college.
You know, and it's interesting because when I was thinking of this in preparation of our conversation today, I was thinking that it was solely sort of around the issue of losing agency over your own body, right? And that is such an important part of this conversation for so many women. But it's the other aspects, the socioeconomic aspects, the health aspects as well, that can impact negatively a person's mental health.
It truly can. So you think about the circumstance that women have found themselves in. We stereotypically think that this conversation is about women who have become pregnant and wish to end the pregnancy. But this conversation is also about women who develop medical consequences while pregnant, such as a miscarriage or an ectopic pregnancy. It is such a bigger issue than even reproductive rights. Women right now across the country are saying that this is a human rights issue for them. The right to life, the right to health, the right to privacy and autonomy, which is seriously under threat right now for women, the right to be free of any sort of cruelty in many ways. So when you feel so overwhelmed, frustrated, when you feel that your very rights as a human being are being trampled on, that raises your stress, it raises your anxiety on top of everything else that women have to deal with. And one thing I really feel a responsibility to say here as well on behalf of all of us, 3 million women will experience a rape-related pregnancy in the course of their lifetime. 3 million.
It's a horrifying statistic.
Michaela, you just have to feel the weight of that on your shoulders. Women who have a reported rape by either a current or a former intimate partner are more likely to have a rape-related pregnancy, 26%. And in there, 30% of those women will let us know that they experienced reproductive coercion. Serious issues. Serious.
Dr. Nealon, as we always like to do when we talk with you, is offer people, you know, it's shocking the amount of data that we can tell people, share with people, but we like to give them some idea of where to turn, right? So if you are finding that this decision is causing you strife and is causing you a crisis with your mental health, where do you suggest people turn?
People have to turn first and foremost, Michaela, to trusted resources to educate themselves about the complexity of issues involved. It's a huge issue for all of us. So trusted resources to become educated. Women and men and families can turn to each other during this period of time. That level of social trusted support continues to be very, very important for us all. And then women in general, turn to your primary care physicians, get the appropriate recommendations to qualified mental health professionals. Don't leave yourself struggling with stress, anxiety, depression, and other issues. Life is too short for that. We've got to take care of ourselves by reaching out to the professionals there to help us.
Dr. Michelle Nealon, president of the Chicago School of Professional Psychology, you are a gem. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and your time with us today.
Always my pleasure. Thank you for raising the issues, Michaela.
Absolutely. Good to see you.
You too. Bye-bye.